Good evening, this is TCN English News Edition and you're watching with me, Ning Kim Hong Sai. First, the headlines. Kotu warns Manipur CM against entering Cooki areas en route to Senapati visit. Hold state accountable for any unrest. Cooki MLA cries bias as all 57 road projects go to Mayday areas. NIPF and ZORO opposes government step to fence border in Tingnopak, Jandil and Churachandpur districts. News in detail. In a stark warning ahead of Chief Minister and Biren Singh's scheduled visit to Senapati district on October 30, the Committee on Tribal Unity Kotu has unequivocally cautioned him against entering Cooki-dominated areas, labeling any such move as provocative and potentially dangerous. Kotu's statement includes direct accusations against Singh, alleging his role in inciting violence against the Cooki people and warning that his presence could spark fresh unrest. Manipur Chief Minister and Biren Singh is set to visit Senapati district on October 30 to attend Liangmai Changyengi 2024 at Marenmai village located near the strife-riven Kangpokpi district. A similar attempt by the Chief Minister to pass through Kangpokpi on August 3rd was strongly opposed by the Cooki community and was ultimately cancelled. The powerful warning from Kotu has cast a spotlight on the escalating tensions in Manipur, where ethnic violence between the Cooki and Meitei communities has scarred the state. Kotu described the Chief Minister's planned route through Cooki areas as a deliberate act that could inflame volatile relations, accusing Singh of previously fueling hostilities and calling any attempt to trespass into their resources a threat to the community. His presence here is not welcome, said Lamilun Singh, Kotu's General Secretary, asserting that it represents an escalation of political interference in Cooki territories. He emphasized that Singh's actions have left the Cooki community deeply distrustful of his motives, with lingering accusations of the state complicity in violence against the Cooki people. With allegations of step-back discrimination still reverberating in the aftermath of Manipur's recent ethnic violence, Kotu's ultimatum reflects a profound distrust of the government's intention. The organization has urged Singh to show restraint and avoid what they considered an incendiary act, underscoring the fragile peace that remains in Manipur. Kotu also urged the central government to advise the Manipur Chief Minister to avoid trespassing to Cooki-dominated areas en route to his visit to Senapati. The committee warned that if the Chief Minister intentionally and forcefully trespasses into Cooki areas, any untoward incidents arising from it would be the sole responsibility of the state government. The 18-month-old ethnic strife in Manipur has now fueled allegations of biased development, with tribal Cookis who primarily lives in the hills claiming that 57 road projects worth around rupees 400 crore were recently allocated to Meitei-dominated plains. All 57 road projects only for Manipur's valley districts. This is why a union territory with a legislature is a must for the hills, wrote Cooki BJP MLA Paulin Haukip on X, sharing a work order list from the Central Ministry of Road Transport. Cooki groups have been demanding a separate UT with autonomous rights for tribal majority areas to ensure lasting peace in the state. Haukip had put out another post 2 days later, asking the ministry to review the road projects or bring up another list for the hills. Manipur has 10 Cooki MLAs who recently refused to attend a peace initiative meeting with their Meitei counterparts in Delhi, which was convened by the Home Ministry. Haukip could not be reached for comment despite repeated attempts. The Cooki Organizations for Human Rights Trust, an outfit fighting for the cause of Manipur tribals too, has condemned the alleged bias in road projects. The Nagaland Indigenous Peoples Forum and IPF and ZO Reunifications Organizations (ZARO) expressed deep displeasure over the central government's persistent effort to construct border fencing along the Indio-Myanmar border in Tingnopal, Chandil, and Churachandpur districts in Manipur. Despite opposition and previous protests leading to halt in constructions, the government is now aggressively pushing for the resumption of the constructions, even deploying central forces to enforce its decision. This disregard for the concern of the indigenous communities underscores the insensitivity of the government towards the people it affects. The constructions of the border fencing poses a severe threat to the culture, heritage, and way of life of the indigenous people. When the fence cuts through villages, it not only divides their homelands, but also imposes restrictions on traditional practices and interactions with counterparts across the border, further eroding their cultural identity. People across the Northeast region had high expectations when the free movement regime was formalized in 2018 as a part of the Act East policy by the BJP government. So the abrupt decision to scrap the FMR by the same BJP government came as a shocker to all. It is unique, bewildering why the BJP government is acting against its own policy. Keeping aside the national security concern of the central government, the whole gamut seems an appeasement policy towards a particular community. It's no wonder the communal state government of Manipur lauded the central government's decision, as it fully understood that the indigenous tribal people will be the victims of the border fencing. By disregarding the need for consultations with stakeholders and bypassing international conventions protecting indigenous rights, the central government is violating the fundamental rights of the indigenous communities living along the border. India's commitment to United Nations declarations on the rights of indigenous peoples 2007 should compel it to uphold the rights of these marginalized communities, including the right to maintain relations across borders under Article 36 of UNDRIP. To achieve a sustainable and just solution, the Indian government must strike a balance between national security imperatives and respect for human rights border management in Manipur. And the Northeast region should not come at the cost of disenfranchising indigenous communities, as it will only exacerbate tensions and hinder peace and development in the region. The constructions of the border fence must cease immediately to safeguard the rights and as well as the well-being of the indigenous people. The persistence of the central government in pursuing the constructions of border fencing in Manipur despite opposition from the indigenous communities highlights the need for a more inclusive and right-based approach to border management by prioritizing national security over human rights. The government risks further alienating and marginalizing the very people it is meant to protect. Today at 10:30 a.m., Lamka Central High School on IB Road organized a science exhibitions competition. The school is divided into 4 houses and each house presented various science projects. The school authority encouraged the students to participate in this exhibition to showcase their academic talents. The topics presented by the students include photosynthesis, atmosphere layer, life cycle of butterfly, and human body parts by sub-junior students, volcanic eruption, solar system, water cycle, and soil profile by junior students, and solar and lunar eclipse, windmill, hydroelectric power, and water filtrations by senior students. The school administrations led by Joyce Hill headmistress and other officials appreciated the effort of the students and awarded points to each house. The winner of today's science exhibitions are sub-junior category, yellow house, water cycle, junior category, greenhouse, solar system, senior category, greenhouse, windmill. Lamka Central High School was established in 1973 under the Tuitapai Presbyterian Mission. The school organizes various activities, including science exhibitions, to nurture the talents of its students. The school aims to provide quality education and character-building opportunities to its students. The Manipur government sanctioned over Rs 5 crore aiming to provide financial assistance of Rs 1,000 each to internally displaced persons, IDPs, in various parts of the state. According to official notifications, the amount will also cover the cost of providing items of daily needs to the IDPs. Taking to Facebook, Chief Minister Biren Singh stated, the sanctioned sum will cover Rs 1,000 financial assistance to each IDP. The amount would be distributed before Diwali and the Ningol Chakoba festival. Singh has said earlier, the CM also flashed off the Run for Unity Marathon on the eve of National Unity Day, organized by Department of Youth Affairs and Sport. The Unity Run covered a distance of around 4 kilometers. This run is a powerful reminder of our commitment to unity and harmony. Let everyone strike today. Reinforce our shared bond as one nation, one people. Jai Hind, Singh said in a post on X. Manipur Chief Electoral Officer has just released the draft photo electoral rolls for all 60 assembly constituencies in the state following the Elections Commission of India's guidelines. This is a huge step towards ensuring eligible voters can exercise their rights. Key details include verifications and claims. Citizens, political parties, and electors can verify and submit claims or objections from October 29 through November 28. Accessing draft rolls, you can check the draft rolls at Electoral Registrations Officers (ERO's) offices, Assistant Electoral Registrations Officer (AERO's) offices, or the CEO's official website at ceo.manipur.nic.in. Special campaign days. November 9th and 10th are designated special campaigning days. Electoral roll publications. The final electoral roll will be published on January 6, 2025. Statistics are gender ratio. The electoral gender ratio stands at 1,069, slightly higher than the 1,068 ratio reported on January 22, 2024. Voters and polling stations. There are currently 234,660 voters and 2,955 polling stations. To promote voter awareness, the CEO will conduct campaigns in educational institutions and establish electoral literacy clubs. Special games will also be organized for voter registration. The Naga People's Organization's NPO has strongly opposed the Hill Areas Committee HSC recommendations to establish a 20-member nominated committee to oversee the Autonomous District Councils ADCs in the hills of Manipur until the next elections. The NPO labeled these recommendations as unconstitutional and undemocratic, criticizing it for bypassing the electoral process and infringing on the rights of the hill areas. This dispute stems from HSC's Resolution Number 59, 2024 HSC, and October 2024 memo, both issued after the Guwahati High Court invalidated the caretaker chairmanship system in the ADCs, while HSC proposed appointing former ADC members and local experts to manage the councils. The NPO condemned the proposal as an unjustifiable move to impose governance without holding elections. The organization called on the governor of Manipur to reject these recommendations and ensure that ADC elections are held promptly. NPO also stressed the need for full implementations of Article 371C to safeguard democratic principles governing the hill areas. The MPO's reactions highlighted a broader desire to protect local self-governance, emphasizing that decisions affecting the hill areas should be made through proper electoral mechanisms rather than undemocratic nominations, the release mentioned. At least 12 people were killed and several others were injured after a bus collided with a culvert in Rajasthan's Sikar on Tuesday afternoon, police said. The bus en route from Salasar collided head-on with a culvert upon reaching Laxmangarh in Sikar district. The injured have been admitted to a government welfare hospital in Laxmangarh for treatment, the police added. So far, 12 people have been confirmed dead. Mahendra Khichat, the hospital superintendent, said. Rajasthan Chief Minister Bhanjala Sharma reacted to the accident and expressed grief. The loss of life in the bus accident in Sikar's Laxmangarh area is extremely sad and heartbreaking. My deepest condolences are with the bereaved families of the deceased. The concerned officials have been directed to ensure proper treatment of the injured, he posted on X. The Chief Minister further wished for the speedy recovery of those injured in the incident. Over 510 domestic and international flights received bomb threats in the past 16 days, with more than 100 threats reported on Tuesday, October 30, 2024 alone. These threats, primarily delivered through social media platforms, targeted multiple Indian carriers. Air India AI confronted approximately 36 threats, while Indigo 6E and Vistara UK faced 35 and 32 threats, respectively. Air India confirmed receiving security threat on October 29, 2024, triggering immediate implementations of security protocols and regulatory procedures. Mumbai Police has launched criminal investigations, registering 14 first information reports (FIRs) in October following the bomb threats. A new case targets an unidentified individual who issued threats to 3 airlines through X platform. The IT Ministry directs social media platforms to ensure due diligence obligations, demanding swift removal of misinformation within IT rules timelines. The Civil Aviation Ministry explores legislative actions to combat these hoax threats. Civil Aviation Minister K. Ramohan Naidu announced potential flight bans for individuals responsible for false bomb threats. Indore police launched an investigation into a social media threat claiming a pipe bomb placement aboard Air India flight AI636. The threat emerged at 5:08 p.m. Tuesday, targeting the Delhi to Mumbai through Indore service that had departed Indore at 4:38 p.m. Deputy Commissioner of Police Vinod Kumar Meena confirmed the investigations revealed the threat's fraudulent nature. The police verifications process established no credible danger to the aircraft or passengers. Law enforcement registered a criminal case under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita Section 3514, which specifically addresses anonymous criminal intimidations. The case filing followed a formal complaint from a local Air India representative. Stay tuned with us. Further, follow us on social media for the latest updates. An electrician died in a major fire that broke out at a banquet hall in Noida, Sector 74, around 3 a.m. on Wednesday. The banquet hall, which was worth crores of rupees, was reduced to ashes. The reason of the fire is yet to be ascertained. The blast has been taken into control by the fire department and police. Police said the fire erupted around 3:30 a.m. in the Lotus Grenadier Banquet Hall near Sarfabat village under the jurisdictions of Sector 113 police stations. Deputy Commissioner of Police John Rambadan Singh said fire department personnel reached the scene around 3:40 a.m. with 5 fire engines. At around 3:30 a.m., we got information that fire broke out at Lotus Grandeur Banket Hall in Noida Sector 74. A total of 15 fire tenders reached here. Fire has been brought under control. One electrician, Parminder, lost his life in the fire, he added. However, as the fire kept spreading, 10 more fire engines were dispatched to contain the blast. Several people trapped inside were safely evacuated, but an electrician named Pravinder died in the fire, Singh said. Chief Fire Officer Pradeep Kumar Chaubey said the hole's primarily wooden structure contributed to the rapid spread of the fire. It took the department nearly 3 hours to reach the fire under control. The same banquet hall caught fire on November 21 last year also. At least 60 Palestinians were killed and dozens wounded in an Israeli strike on a residential building in the northern Gaza town of Beit Lahia on Tuesday, the Gaza Health Ministry said. Marwan Al-Hams, an official at the Health Ministry in the Hamas-run enclave, said 17 other people were missing, adding they would be counted as dead, and 150 people were wounded. Medics say 20 children were among the dead. There was no immediate Israeli comment. Video footage obtained by Reuters showed several bodies wrapped in blankets on the ground outside the bombed 4-story building. More bodies and survivors were being retrieved from under the rubble as neighbors rushed to help with rescue. There are tens of martyrs dead. Tens of displaced people were living in this house. The house was bombed without prior warning. As you can see, martyrs are here and there, with body parts hanging on the walls. Ismail Kita, an eyewitness who was helping to recover bodies, said in the video. On Monday, the Palestinian Civil Emergency Service said around 1 lakh people were marooned in Zabalia, Beit Lahia, and Beit Hanun without medical or food supplies. Reuters could not verify the number independently. The health ministry said on Tuesday those wounded in the strike could not receive care as doctors have been forced to evacuate the nearby Kamal Adwan hospital. Critical cases without intervention will succumb to their destiny and die, the ministry said in a statement. Gaza's emergency service said its operations had come to a halt because of the 3-week Israeli assault into northern Gaza. Israel says its campaign is to destroy Palestinian militant group Hamas, whose fighters had returned to the area in the year-long war. Hamas' October 7, 2023 attack on Israel killed 1,200 people and more than 250 hostages were captured and taken into Gaza, according to Israeli tallies. The dead count from Israel's retaliatory air and ground onslaught in Gaza has exceeded 43,000, the Gaza Health Ministry said. Gaza's war has kindled wider conflict in the Middle East, with Israel bombing Lebanon and sending forces into its south to disable Iran-backed Hezbollah, a Hamas ally. Tuesday's strike came a day after Israel's parliament passed a law to ban the UN relief agency, UNRWA, from operating inside the country, alarming some of Israel's Western allies who fear it will worsen the already dire humanitarian situations in Gaza. Israeli officials cited the involvement of a handful of the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees, thousands of staffers in the October 7, 2023 Hamas-led attack and refused staffers' membership in Hamas and other armed groups. Terrorists on Tuesday attacked a health center involved in an ongoing anti-polio campaign in northwestern Pakistan, sparking a gunfight that resulted in the death of a police officer. Local authorities reported. In the exchange, 3 attackers were also killed. The attack took place in Orakzai, a district in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, a former base for Pakistani Taliban, though no group immediately claimed responsibility. According to local police officer, the assault occurred in the morning as health workers were assembling to begin a door-to-door campaign accompanied by police officers assigned to protect the polio teams. No polio workers were injured in the attack, though another police officer sustained injuries. Later that day, terrorists who raided a health center in North Waziristan, another area previously held by the Pakistani Taliban in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They reportedly seized weapons from the officers present and cautioned health workers not to participate in the polio campaign, as confirmed to news agencies by local police. The attackers then departed with the confiscated firearms without providing further details. Militants in Pakistan frequently target both police and polio workers, alleging that vaccination efforts are part of Western scheme to sterilize children. Pakistan and Afghanistan remain the only two countries where polio transmission has not been eradicated. In severe cases, the virus can lead to irreversible paralysis and even death. On Monday, Pakistan initiated another national campaign to vaccinate 45 million children under the age of 5 in response to a rise in new cases. This campaign marks the country's third polio drive this year. So far, in 2024, Pakistan has reported 41 cases across 71 districts, predominantly in southwestern Balochistan, southern Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and eastern Punjab provinces. In Afghanistan, health authorities stated that a similar vaccinations campaign began on Monday across 16 of the nation's 34 provinces, aiming to immunize 6.2 million children under 5 over a 3-day period, according to spokesperson Sarafat Jaman. Data from the World Health Organization confirms 23 cases in Afghanistan this year. Russia has launched extensive exercises of its nuclear forces featuring test fire missile launches in a simulations of retaliatory strike. President Putin attributed the decision to begin drills to the emergence of new external threats and risks, adding that it is important to have modern and constantly ready-to-use strategic forces. The exercise included the test fire of a year's intercontinental ballistic missile (ICBM) from the plastic launch pad on the Kamchatka Peninsula and other ICBMs from the Novomoskovsk and Knyaz-Oles nuclear submarines. The military also carried out practice launches of long-range cruise missiles from nuclear-capable Tu-95 strategic bombers. Putin noted that Moscow will continue to modernize its nuclear forces, deploying new missiles that have a higher precision, quicker launch times, and increased capabilities to overcome missile defenses. The drills come at a time of escalating tensions with the West, following weeks of signaling by Russia that Moscow will respond if the West allows Ukraine to use Western-supplied longer-range weapons to strike deep inside Russia. Last month, Putin warned that a move would put NATO at war with Russia. He also announced a new version of the nuclear doctrine that considers a conventional attack on Russia by a non-nuclear nation that is supported by nuclear power to be a joint attack on his country. Putin also declared that the revised document envisages possible nuclear weapons used in case of a massive air attack, holding the door open to a potential nuclear response to any aerial assault, an ambiguity intended to deter the West. On his visit to Beijing, the president of Finland called on China to assist in de-escalating Russian nuclear activity. The final and fifth point I made is that it is very difficult to trust President Putin, especially when it comes to nuclear weapons, and that's why it's extremely important that a major power such as China keeping on having dialogue with Russia and make sure that we can de-escalate as much as possible. President Alexander Stubb told a press conference following his meeting with China's President Xi Jinping. Tuesday, maneuvers followed a series of other drills of Russia's nuclear forces. Earlier this year, the Russian military held a joint nuclear exercise with Moscow's ally, Belarus, which was hosted some of Russia's tactical nuclear weapons. That's all from us tonight, and we thank you for joining our program.